Hello, my name is Louis from Badimp Studios, and today we're going to be designing a game design document from scratch. How to create like a simple game design document and like the best practices and steps to take. This can turn into a more advanced tutorial series if there's demand for it. Just make sure you comment, and I could even try and go through some of your ideas and help you flesh out. But really, the purpose of this lesson is just how to get the ground running and get a really basic idea that you can start working off. So I've got this simple idea that I've done a tiny bit of prototyping for, but it's a bit loose what you can do with it, and like the features. And I'm getting to a point where I've sort of got it. So the core features playable, just it's some robots like moving around on the map, just going to certain objects. But I really need to flesh it out, and this is the purpose of this document. So I just want you to come along with me for the process of how I do these how I do my game design documents, and how that can help you help you when you're creating your own games. So my idea is, well, I'll just write it out, and I'll write it out and tell you. But the first thing you need to do is just like an elevate. It's called an elevator pitch, which is pretty much a 30-second description of what your game is. And if you can't say what this sentence says in about 30 seconds, then you need to shorten it down. And this just helps you focus on what your idea is. So for me, mine is a top-down game where there are robots that fight over resources and upgrade themselves over time, like they are evolving. And pretty much that is the premise of the game. I'm able to say that and tell somebody else in a matter of 10 seconds, and they should get a rough idea of what my game is like. I don't need to say, anything complicated. I don't need to start talking about the control schemes or, starting to comparing it to other games. This is just very simple, so I'm just going to title this Elevator Pitch. And this is pretty much the most important thing you can do, because it gives you a very clear reference point. So if you're creating and typing out some more features, you just need to think to yourself, is this staying true to my original elevator pitch? If it is, you can carry on developing your idea. If not, then you need to sort of rethink and take a step back. So then what I like to do again is just like more of a description. So this is like a paragraph rather than like one sentence description. Rather than a one sentence description of the game, it's more like a paragraph. So this might give an indication of a tiny bit more of what the player will come to expect of what the gameplay would be. So let's have a look. I haven't really thought about it too much myself, so this is half off script. I've got a rough idea of what I want, so I'm not coming up with this stuff from out of thin air, but I haven't really typed this out before. So let's see. Yeah, so you can the most important thing is just start writing, and then you can just rewrite it if you need to. So I'm just going to try and sort of elaborate on what I've already written. So a top-down game where the player I might want this optional, but can take control of a robot like a tank, just to keep it simple. Don't want any humanoid looking robots, because that requires a lot of animation. I just want it to just look like a very low poly simplistic tank. And we can upgrade the different tank heads as they evolve, but it's just going to look like a tank. A top-down game where the player takes control of a robot, looks like a tank, and as they play the game, they can upgrade and level up different features of their tank, such as how much damage it does, ammo capacity, ammo and fuel capacity, armor, amongst other features. We'd have to think of this all right now. It's just just write down what's on the top of your head, and that's really is the most important thing. The robots will also be able to find mates, or let's say reproduction partners or mates. Let's find reproduction partners or mates that, in order to replicate the next generation of tank will inherit features from both quotation marks parents. And then this description should give people a bit more of a clearer idea of where you're trying to go with it. I haven't really added anything else, I've just sort of fluffed it out, but it's good to add a tiny bit more features that you want to include. It doesn't have to be all of them, it's just really the most core principles that you have. Just give me a second. Hello, so I am back after setting this up, making sure my stream was working. So we've got the description down. So once you've got a rough idea of what type of game you want, and you're able to actually convey like the very broadest idea of it, then pretty much, I would say even, it is pretty much the most important part after just getting your elevator pitch. This description not so much, but your elevator pitch, which is you pretty much just need to know what you're making, just the rough idea. Obviously that's the most important part, but after this, everything needs to rely on these things which I and other people like to call like the 3 pillars